Good Monday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to tonight's top stories, let's take a look outside our weather window on this Monday. And boy, after a pretty heavy inversion of clouds this morning and some foggy conditions, things cleared up. We did still see some haze around the mountaintops today. It could be a combination of a little bit of ice fog out there, also some wood stoves and fireplaces burning around the area. And boy, not much wind, and our weather really not going to change much this entire week. We're going to see it pretty much like we had over the weekend. High temperatures between 30 and 40, maybe a couple of days over 40 degrees with low temperatures, at least for us, between 20 and 25 degrees. So it's going to still feel more like winter. I'll have your complete north central Washington weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Wenatchee Valley firefighters rescued a man yesterday who was trapped by fire in the bathroom of his East Wenatchee apartment. Last week, Chelan County District Court refused to dismiss a raft of DUI cases despite admitted flaws in the way breathalyzers were used. Now Douglas County Court has done the same. And Chelan County commissioners adjourned Monday without appointing a new judge to fill the vacant district court seat being left by Kyle Mott. But first, our top story tonight, the bodies of a 32-year-old Othello man and his 6-year-old son were recovered yesterday afternoon after the canoe that they and two others were in capsized Friday night on a small lake near Warden. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said another son's body was discovered Saturday morning and a third son was able to swim to shore. The Sheriff's Office says the incident occurred sometime before sunset Friday while the four were on a fishing trip on Soda Lake at the Columbia Wildlife Refuge south of State Route 262. Family members became concerned when the group didn't return and went to the area where they found the 10-year-old on the shoreline suffering from hypothermia. He was estimated to have been there for nearly 7 hours. He was treated and released. The body of the 8-year-old boy was discovered early Saturday morning. The names of deceased of the surviving boy have not been released. Wenatchee Valley firefighters rescued a man Sunday night who was trapped by fire in the bathroom of his East Wenatchee apartment. Wenatchee Valley Fire Department Chief Brian Brett said the fire was reported just before 7 p.m. at an apartment in the 700 block of 5th Street Northeast, and firefighters arrived to find the front living room on fire and the occupant trapped. He said crews knocked down the fire and pulled the occupant from the bathroom. The man was treated at the scene and released. It was the second of 3 successive Wenatchee Valley fires Sunday night. The first was about 6:30 p.m. at a home in the 300 block of North Emerson Avenue in Wenatchee. Brett said firefighters arrived to find fire extending from the basement of the home to the fully engulfed front porch. The occupants were able to escape and firefighters quickly knocked down the flames. He said the family's cat was still missing this morning. Brett said the fire is under investigation but may be connected to a portable heater that was plugged in to keep pipes from freezing. Finally, the third fire was reported in a motorhome about 10:30 p.m. on Sunrise Court in the Palisades. Brett said the motorhome was being used as a residence and the occupant was able to move a pickup away before it was damaged. The motorhome was completely destroyed. Well, last week, Chelan County District Court refused to dismiss a raft of DUI cases despite admitted flaws in the way breathalyzers were used. Now, Douglas County's court has done the same. Judge Eric Bigger ruled Friday that it's up to juries to decide whether the blood alcohol reading from a breathalyzer is valid. Other courts have found the devices weren't calibrated by the State Patrol in accordance with Washington law and have thrown out results in local DUI cases. Attorney John Brangwyn, who's leading the defense effort, says he'll introduce a new motion to dismiss or suppress the breathalyzer evidence under a claim of government misconduct. Chelan County Commissioners adjourned on Monday without appointing a new judge to fill the vacant district court seat being left by Kyle Mott. The junior district court judge will resign effective December 5th, and the Board of Commissioners shortlisted 5 applicants to replace him. The board carried out candidate interviews behind closed doors this morning. County Public Information Officer Jill Fitzsimmons says they've extended an offer to 1 applicant and should make the appointment official 1 week from today. The other judicial seat is likely to be held by Wenatchee attorney John Volan, who so far holds almost 53% of the vote from last week's election. Well, when we come back, work wrapped up last night on a runway lighting project that has disrupted flight schedules out of Pangbourne Memorial Airport off and on since late October. As he's done in past years, Governor Jay Inslee is attending the United Nations Climate Change Conference. A Leavenworth Hospital Commissioner has been honored for his work in the medical field. And both the City of Wenatchee and the Chelan County PUD are preparing to open their new buildings to the public this week. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Welcome back. And in other news, work wrapped up last night on a runway lighting project that has disrupted flight schedules out of Pangbourne Memorial Airport off and on since late October. Stacy Demestre, Capital Projects Manager for the Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority, said the new system, bringing minimum visibility down from a mile to a half mile at the airport, will be operational the week of December 12th. Non-commercial flights will then be able to reduce their visibility standards, but commercial flights will need to wait for the Federal Aviation Administration to publish the procedure change on February 24th. During the project, there were 2 stretches of nightly closures for 3 days last week. There was a full runway closure. Well, as he's done in past years, Governor Jay Inslee is attending the United Nations Climate Change Conference, this time in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. Inslee has made climate resiliency part of his political portfolio, and it was key to his run for president in 2020. At the conference, the governor announced Washington will join the Transport Decarbonization Alliance. That's a coalition of 26 countries, states, and companies aiming to power travel without petroleum.
So it was a joy to sit in a Kenworth truck, electric battery truck with a range of about 150 miles the other day. It was parked in front of Climate Pledge Arena, which is the first net zero athletic facility in world history. So big sign, Climate Pledge Arena, over the top of the arena, and parked right there was a zero usage heavy duty truck that particularly is now suitable for drayage right now. Fortunately, we have committed $6 billion by using our cap and invest bill that just got put into place, and we're ready to rock and roll when it comes to a total decarbonization of our transportation fleet.
A Leavenworth Hospital Commissioner has been honored for his service in the medical field. The Washington State Hospital Association presented its Governance Excellence Award last month to Bruce Williams. He's a board member at Cascade Medical Center. Williams is a retired CEO and attorney and has served on more than a dozen boards of directors. The honor was presented as part of the WSHA's annual meeting. The Governance Excellence Award is given each year to a hospital board member or commissioner who has displayed exemplary leadership and community service. Well, both the City of Wenatchee and the Chelan County PUD are preparing to open their new buildings to the public this week. First up will be guided tours on Wednesday of Wenatchee City Hall. The city has largely completed the renovation of the former federal building on Yakima Street and is offering 3 tours at 11:30 a.m., 12:15 p.m., and 1 p.m., although I should say on Wednesday. On Thursday at 4:30 p.m., the city will hold an official ribbon cutting and dedication of the City Hall building with guest speakers, local entertainment, and refreshments. The public is welcome. The open house, meanwhile, for the PUD's new service center in Old Station will be Friday, with visitors first gathering at Port Industrial Building number 5 on Old Station Road. Hard hat tours of the new building will then be offered from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Work on the building began in August of 2020 and will continue into next year. The PUD expects to begin a phased move-in early next summer. The service center replaces the PUD's current headquarters off 5th Street in Wenatchee. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. The latest Wenatchee All-District musical opened over the weekend with performances of SpongeBob the Musical. The show continues Thursday through Saturday at Wenatchee High School. The musical, based on the popular TV cartoon, has been a Broadway hit. In tonight's feature story, Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz talked with director Paul Atwood about putting together a production featuring Wenatchee students of all ages.
This is the all-district musical. You got kids who are 5 years old and you got kids who are 18 years old,
Yes.
oftentimes in the same scene at the same time.
Yes.
What are the challenges as a director to direct people with that wide an age group in difference? I mean, how do you do
interesting. It's interesting. Some of the young ones, it's like a little bit like herding cats. The older ones, of course, have experienced. We live in a great town that exposes theater to kids at a very young age, and they have all these opportunities to get involved in things like short Shakespeareans and stage kids and the community theater. And of course, these dance people that Fabulous Feet and stuff like that. All these places and are cultivating what I get to work with here on stage.
You mentioned dance, a lot of choreography, a lot of movement. There's
Yeah.
not a lot, in fact, the entire play, there's always something going on.
And Jennifer Devereaux's the main
Of course, she's
choreographer.
fantastic. But that's the one thing that people are going to notice. There's a lot of action, a lot of movement, very colorful.
And you're visually stimulated all times. So if you bring your child or whatever that's age 3 or 4 or 5, they're probably going to be
They'll be entertained.
Right.
Yeah.
And not wondering.
Time now to take a look at your north central Washington weather forecast. Hope your weekend was a good one. Really no complaints over the weekend weather-wise. 42 degrees yesterday with sun. Didn't feel too bad. We did have some sun today too, looking back down the Columbia River from our Orondo Rock camera, and you can see still a dusting of snow on the foothills of the Cascade. Beautiful colors if you go for a drive up that way too. High temperature today, 37 degrees with the clouds. We just didn't warm up all that much. Normal is 44. And notice our record high temperature. Do you remember it? Last year, we topped off at 70 degrees. Boy, we would take half that right now, between 37 and 70. 25, our morning low this morning. 31 is where we should be for lows this time of year. And 13, our record. That was set in 1985. Sunrise is 7:04 and the sun set this afternoon at 4:26. Taking a look at what we can expect as we get you into Tuesday, I do think we will see a bit of a warm up tomorrow. Upper 30s in the Columbia Basin for Moses Lake and Ephrata. 40 degrees for Quincy and Wenatchee. Those should be the highest numbers we see tomorrow, but consistently into the upper 30s from Cashmere up into Chelan, and also you folks in Omak, Okanagan, and Tonasket, you'll see a high tomorrow of about 36 degrees. Taking a look at tonight, we will continue to see mostly clear skies. Boy, there's an area of low pressure trying to push through this ridge, but this huge ridge, dome of cold, just will not move from the Pacific Northwest. That could create a little bit of fog in the morning as you make that morning commute tomorrow. Mostly sunny in the afternoon, as we talked about. High temperatures tomorrow, right about the 40-degree mark. As for Wednesday, mostly sunny. We'll continue with fair fall weather here in the north central Washington. High temperatures on Wednesday, a touch warmer into the low 40s. For Thursday, partly cloudy and a bit breezy. Two areas of high pressure come storming in from the Gulf of Alaska. That could kick up some breezy conditions. Not going to be that chilly though, as those systems move through, with highs in the low 40s, which will be about normal for the end of the week. For Friday, sunshine, but just a little bit cooler. We're going to see highs on Friday with still that high pressure dome over us in the upper 30s, and then colder weather moves in as we get into the upcoming weekend. Partly cloudy and cooler on Saturday. We'll see high temperatures only in the mid 30s, and by the time we end our forecast, a bit of a low pressure system beginning to build off the coast, but boy, that high pressure cold ridge just will not move. Sunday's high temperature on the chilly side in the mid to upper 30s. Taking a look now at your 7-day forecast. 25 overnight tonight, a bit of morning fog tomorrow, and then mostly sunny and 40. Pretty nice couple of days on Wednesday and Thursday. Excuse me, a bit breezy on Thursday and 41. 39 as we end our work week on Friday, and then just a cool down as we get you into the upcoming weekend. Partly to mostly cloudy on Saturday and into Sunday, with high temperatures both days in the mid to upper 30s. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Monday to you. We'll start the weekend where it began back on Friday. Cashmere was on the road in Woodland to face La Center in the first round of the State 1A football tournament. After falling behind early, the Bulldogs were able to come back all the way, pull off a 22-17 upset victory. On Saturday, Royal defended its home field with a lopsided 41-7 win over Cascade Christian. Looking ahead, Cashmere moves on to the quarterfinals in Bellingham this Saturday at 3 o'clock against Nooksack Valley. Elmira Cooley Heartline season came to an end on Saturday in the first round of the State 1B tournament, falling to Nacelle 64-6. Liberty Bell blew out Muckleshoot 62-0 to advance. The Mountain Lions will face Mossy Rock in the quarterfinals this Saturday at 5 o'clock at Tiger Stadium in Centralia. The Okanagan Bulldogs will face Unalaska in the State 2B quarterfinals. Saturday, that'll be here in Wenatchee at the Apple Bowl at noon. Ifreda nearly pulled off the upset of the weekend Friday, handling all WF West could throw at it before finally falling 29-28 the final. Othello did advance with a 49-12 win over Washington. Sunnyside and Richland were knocked out of the State 4A tournament Saturday. The Grizzlies fell to Chiawana 49-20, while the Bombers dropped a 46-35 decision to Kennedy Catholic. Well, we have a state volleyball champion in our midst once again. Chelan won its third straight 1A state volleyball championship Saturday by downing Linden Christian in the semifinals 3-1 and Annie Wright for the title 3-0. Congratulations to the Goats. By the way, that one game they lost in the semifinals to Linden Christian, the only set they lost in the whole tournament. Ellensburg wrapped up a District 5-6 2A volleyball championship with a 3-0 win over Ephrata. The Tigers had to win a crossover game with Clarkston Saturday by a score of 3-1 to advance to the state. Pullman, the other crossover winner, advancing to state with a 3-2 win over Sela. Ephrata's first round opponent to the State 2A tournament Friday is Columbia River. That'll be at 10:45 in the morning. Ellensburg drew Mark Morris for its first round match, also at 10:45. Things get much earlier start Friday for teams in the State 4A tournament. Wenatchee has a 7 a.m. first round match in the Sundome Friday against Kennedy Catholic. West Valley drew Camas for its first round match at 8:45. Well, Okanagan lives to see another day in the State 1B 2B girls soccer championships. Bulldogs blanked Clallam Roslyn 5-0 Saturday to advance to the semifinals. Tenaskeet's season came to an end in Spokane, falling to St. George's 5-2. Now Okanagan will face Highland Friday in Renton's Memorial Stadium in the semifinals at 5 o'clock. That'll be followed by St. George's and Kalama at 7. The winners and losers will play Saturday for first through fourth place. Washington pulled off the upset of the college football weekend by upsetting number 6 Oregon on Saturday night. 25th ranked Huskies kicked a 43-yard field goal with 51 seconds left to lift the Huskies past the Ducks 37-34. With the game tied at 34, the Ducks went for it on 4th and 1 from its own 33-yard line when Noah Whittington slipped in the backfield and fell short of the line to gain. That gave Washington the ball, and 4 plays later, Peyton Henry connected on a 43-yard game-winning field goal. Washington State built a 28-0 lead at halftime and held on for a 28-18 win over Arizona State in Pullman. Nakia Watson rushed for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Cougars became bowl eligible. Montana rolled up 600 yards of offense as the Grizzlies rolled over Eastern Washington 63-7. Cameron Daniels rushed for 222 yards and 2 touchdowns, while J.J. Lemming threw for 2 others as Central Washington won its season finale over Texas Permian Basin 49-14. Well, the Wenatchee Wild found some good home cooking over the weekend, scoring 13 goals in 2 games to sweep aside Victoria and West Kelowna in BCHL play. Jason Stefanik found the net midway through the first period on Friday, and that seemed to open the floodgates for the Wild in a 6-0 shutout of the Grizzlies. Austin Drade had the call on the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.
And Horn waiting just long enough. Coming outside the zone was Christian Kimbrer's shot. They score! Jason Stefanik above the face-off circles, and the Wenatchee Wild are on the board first. It's 1-0. Trying to lead Bond through neutral ice. Wild get this one back. Slavin sends it ahead. Assembly line passing. Here comes Murray, one of the goalie. Gets to the backhand, and a sprawling save. Rebound, they score! Murray, no! Wild, yes! Luke Weiland gets the crowd going wild. It's 2-0. Littler trying to control the rebound. It took a hop on him, and he wasn't able to do it. Swipe back out front. One-timer, Berger, they score! Has it blocked. Bonet hauls it down. Weiland throws it on. Great kick save. Berger with a rebound. It's a long one. Sent it across. They get it to Somoza. Backdoor. They score. Up high for Hayduk. Back over to Somoza. Right dot. Backdoor. And they score. Cade Littler. 5-0. Face-off won by Wenatchee. Wrist shot. Kind of surprised. Hold second chance. They score. A power play goal. They're 3 for 4. Jackson Ebbett. Puck past Horn. Into the corner. Down to 2 seconds. This crowd is going home happy. Wild win.
Good game on Friday night. Good crowd on hand Saturday for a little more of the battle. It was during Military Appreciation Night. Wild up to the task as they down West Kelowna by a final of 7-4. There was a lot of fighting in that one. In fact, Austin Drade, the voice of the Wild, will be on with Dan Kuntz tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. You'll find out more about the fights, and you'll find out more about the game coming up on Wednesday. Seattle Kraken saw its 5-game winning streak come to an end on Friday at Climate Pledge Arena, falling to Minnesota 1-0. Then last night, Seattle was mere seconds away from getting back on the winning track, leading Winnipeg 2-1, but the Jets scored late and won the game 3-2 in overtime.
McCann, who trades places with Dunn. Crowd impatient. Burakovsky, one-timer blocked. They score! Jaden Schwartz down in front, along with Jared McCann. Josh Morrissey now. Sam Gagner defers out. It's Connor. Gagner wide. Rebound. They score. Mark Scheifele on the flank. Picks an opening. Pulls up. Lays it back to Mello. His shot tipped wide. Wheeler staked out high. The Kraken survive. Here they come. Tanev. Supported by Bjorkstrand. Tanev with a shot. He scores! Guess what? It's turbo time! Brandon Tanev breaks the tie for the Jets. This is Kyle Connor. All the way across. Scheifele. It goes high off the glass. 9 seconds left. Pionk to the outside. Hammered by Connor. Loose. They score! Blake Wheeler, his 300th goal in the National Hockey League, has tied it. Prevents it. Josh Morrissey. Scheifele for the front. There he is. It's over. Mark Scheifele, his second goal tonight. And Winnipeg wins it in overtime.
Tough one there. Seattle's off until Thursday when they'll host the New York Rangers at 7 o'clock. That'll be on Root Sports Northwest. Well, the stadium was rocking Sunday for the very first NFL game in Germany between the Seahawks and Buccaneers. Unfortunately for the 12, Seattle fell to Tampa Bay 21-16. Tom Brady, a couple of touchdown passes. Rashad White also did well on the ground, 105 yards. Bucs led 14-0 at halftime. Seattle finally got the offense going in the second half. They will have a week to regroup with a bye coming up this Sunday. That's Look at Sports News. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And some good news as we leave you tonight, especially for you skiers and boarders out there. Mission Ridge Ski and Board Resort will open this Saturday. That's the earliest opening of the ski resort in the past 5 years. Mission Ridge normally targets the Friday after Thanksgiving for its season opening, but a combination of early snowfall and snow making enabled operators to move the date up. On Saturday and Sunday, chairs 1, 2, and 4, as well as the Pika Peak rope tow, will be operational. And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for being with us and have a great night. News, weather, and sports. It's all here weekdays at 5, 6, and 10 on your local news source, the NCW Life channel.
The NCWLIFE channel offers marketing packages that help you build your brand and sell your products and services. From traditional TV ads to targeted digital campaigns, let us help you build your customer base. Call NCWLIFE channel today.